Think of classic video game mascots. Your brain probably jumps to Mario, Sonic, even Pac-Man. If you're into arcade nostalgia, but in 1994, Nintendo decided to dust off a character they hadn't done much since the Reagan administration, Donkey Kong, the same guy who used to throw barrels at Mario in the early 80s. Only this time, a rare British game studio, gave him an extra makeover. No more being a villain, no more kidnapping, just a tie, a killer smile, and an unhealthy attachment to bananas. And thus, Donkey Kong Country was born. The game's plot is a hard-hitting, gritty tale of thief, betrayal, and potassium. King K. Rool, the leader of the Gremlings, a gang of bipedal crocodiles who are somehow pirates and real estate squatters, steals Donkey Kong's entire banana hoard. Let's pause there. Not money, not family, not a sacred artifact, bananas. And yet the game takes this thief so seriously, you think the Gremlins had burned down DK's montage-free jungle villa. This is basically John Wick, but instead of averaging a dog, DK is averaging his snack pile. From the first level, you're thrown into lush jungle landscapes that look like nature documentaries. If those documentaries also feature a gorilla in business casual attire and an over-caffeine chimpanzee in a baseball cap. The controls are tight, responsive, and somehow intuitive for a game that asks you to solve 90% of your problems by throwing wooden barrels. Enemies range from mild annoyance beavers who exist solely to ruin your day, to the instant constant controller toss, armadillos, and jumping gremlins that seem allegedly obligated to spawn in your blind spots. And then there's the minecart levels. Ah yes, nothing says relaxing jungle adventure like sprinting down rickety rails at 80 miles per hour, leaping over gaps wider than the Grand Canyon, all while your tiny bucky nephew hangs on your dear life. These stages feel like less platforming and more like an aborted insurance scam. Rare did not stop with DK and Diddy. They gave you a whole zoo of helpful mounts. Rambi the Rainbow turns every enemy into a speed bump. The Swordfish, basically a water level cheat code. The Ostrich runs fast, jumps far, and probably smells terrible. Winky the Frog, great jump height, but also a magnet for falling into pits you swore you weren't there. They don't explain where these animals live, why they help you, or how DK is strong enough to carry a giant swordfish with his hands. But you don't question it. This game is just jungle law. In the mid-90s, games like Super Mario World were still rocking tight, flat pixel art. Then Donkey Kong Country rolled up with pre-rendered 3D models compressed into an SNES cartridge-like. It was smuggling high-tech controller contraband. Kids at the time generally thought this was photorealistic. If you had shown it to someone in 1985, they would assume you hijacked into NASA. Even today, the game's style has aged surprisingly. It has styled enough to dodge the uncanny valley charm. You could remaster it for HD right now, and people would still say, dang, that jungle looks cozy. I can't talk about Donkey Kong's Country without bringing up the soundtrack. David Wise compressed a masterpiece that shifts from hype, field, percussion to dreamy, ambient tracks that feel like you're floating down a lazy river. The famous Aqua Ambience, the kind of song you put on while contemplating your life choices in a bathtub. Then you have Jungle Groove, makes you want to strut down the street while you walk on the block. Fear Factor, industrial banger that would make a forklift operator feel heroic. It's A soundtrack so good, you remember the songs long after you've forgotten how many times you died to rolling tire puzzle, to a tire puzzle. The game starts easy enough. The first world is basically a guided jungle tour where the enemies politely walk you into fists. But by the halfway point, Rare is actively trying to ruin your childhood. Platforms start moving, bees get enormous, and you swear the level designers were placing enemies with binoculars from across the room just to be petty. And if you're aiming for one-on-one completion, you better start memorizing every hidden barrel location like it was your STA vocabulary list. After a long, grueling journey, you finally defeat King K. Rool, a boss fight that fakes you every out with credits roll just to troll you. Once the croc hits the dirt, you get your banana horde back. DK sits there grinning, surrounded by a pile of fruit that will absolutely rot in 2 days. No parades, no riches, just potassium. Donkey Kong Country isn't just a platformer. It's a banana-fueled fever dream, a test of platform skill, and a masterclass in SNES era presentation. It's goofy, challenging, and still ridiculous fun nearly 3 decades later. The score? 5 out of 5 bananas would fight an entire species of crocodiles again.